So I was at my local games workshop shop yesterday for a battle, and mighty fine time I had. It was quite a large turnout. I think it was 6 people on each side of the table. I was on the side of the table of destruction, so I had my squigs. There were other squigs. There were the new fangled goblin types, orc types, and some undead. And I think we won, narrowly, but I think we won. And had great fun. But something that became very evident is the fact that I had all squigs and a loon boss. So I had naff all to do during the hero phase. And more crucially, I had nothing to do during the wizard phase because I don't have a wizard. I've never had a wizard. And so I had to like stand there as like thunderbolts came down from the sky and started knocking chunks off of my colossal squig. So yeah, I'm thinking, well, really, you should have a wizard. And this here chap, was leering down at me from the shelf, mentally suggesting that I buy him. So I bought him, and I've got him. So the plan is I'm going to use him as a wizard. And also, as soon as I got home, I went on the Games Workshop website and I've ordered this thing called the Endless Spells, right? Which are 4 spells that a wizard can use. And one of them in particular I'm very interested in is it's basically a ethereal spirit moon demon thing that if you conjure it up, it sort of like wanders across the battlescape, clobbering anything that it comes near. So that's on order, and that will be coming, and I'm looking forward to that because it's going to be a bit of a painting challenge, because on their website it's like a solid yellow with some smoke, but I want to make it more like a spirit form. So later on in this video, when it arrives, I'll be tackling that, and what I want to do is like use contrast paints on that and try and make it a bit different. And so not only when I bought this fella, I also asked my store manager what's the best, brightest, clearest yellow in contrast. And oh, what a surprise, Bad Moon Yellow. So that's set aside until that comes. But this chap, I got home last night and I cracked on. So let's look at my cracking on. Sorry, that's Brett's cigar from another build. Here he is all built, based and base flocked. All right, there you go. Boy. If you've watched a lot of my videos, you know something that gets my goat is the unnecessarily complicated way Games Workshop do things, and just the incredibly unhelpful instructions. So to get him, basically that's the left of his body, that's the right of his body. Stick them together, you get that. Okay, this is his head and this is his pointy hat, and you have to attach the chin onto that yellow bit there, and then there's another bit at the back of his head which attaches there. And usually if you do a test fit, you can work out how it goes. With this, I had no clue what the heck I was doing, and I kept going back to that box photo trying to work it out, but eventually I did work it out. And basically you've got to glue those 2 tiny bits there, and before it sets, you've got to put this side, which covers up, because look, can you see his arm is just hanging off of the staff? That is actually his shoulder cape thing. Sorry, my camera's wobbling. So you have to stick that on that side, then the other side, which is the rest of his head, goes on, and then you get that. But you can't glue one on and let it set and glue the other. You really have to do it while all the glue is still quite gooey, because it takes an awful lot of pushing backwards and forwards. All right, same with putting his cape on. That anchor point for the top of his cape is tenuous at best, which is up there. All right, then you have to put the other half on, but because these are all loose, they're all loose, And I glued it as best I could, but as you can see, I've had to go in with some liquid green stuff to putty the join. And then finally you put in the final squig, which is just there like that. All right. So as I say, that's him done and flocked his base. I've got to go out and prime him. I'm going to prime him in white because I'm going to try and use as much contrast paints as possible. And I'm actually going to have him in black. And instead of doing the usual thing of, you know, base coating in grey, washing Nuln Oil and dry brushing grey, I'm going to use that Black Templar contrast paint and see how that goes. So I want a nice white base before I can get to that. The Black Templar's done its job. Much easier like that. That's one coat has done that for me. Happy with that. Now I've got to pick out all the things like the moon face and the shoulder pads and his skin back in white, ready to start picking out the details. Well, I'm making a right mess of that moon face on his cloak, but multiple tidying ups should get rid of that. Yeah, I've been doing the stalks for the mushrooms that are everywhere. Decided to give him natty little yellow booties. I don't know what all this stuff is going on his hip, what these are, but I'm going to pick them out in various colours. Yeah, I'm going to make him colourful. So this staff thing, I've used a contrast paint, can't remember the name, but a bluey one there. And then he's got this skull thing with legs. So I'm in the process of making the legs and the tentacle that's wrapped round the staff pinky fleshy colour, and then the skull will be skull coloured. What else have I been doing? That's about it. Next I'm going to be putting a wash on his skin so I can start working on that. All right. Oh yeah, and the squigs are like so. Got to start working on their teeth. So yeah, he's coming along. He's coming along. Still no sign of the endless spells. Hopefully they're going to come today. I'm coming down with a bit of a cold, so apologies for any sniffling through this. So we're nearly there on this fella. It wasn't until I started painting his crown that I realised, look, he's got more mushrooms encrusted and growing out of his crown. We've got some there. We've got some over there. So I have to do the stalks on those. You can see I haven't done the caps on any of the other mushrooms yet. So he's nearly done, okay, and which is good timing because his spells that he's going to evoke have arrived. And I'm rather surprised by this. This is it, the Gloomspite gets endless spells. You get 4, okay. This is the one I'm most interested in. This, as I say, this phantom ethereal spirit spell moon, which you can move across the battlefield causing damage. Then you've got the cauldron thing, you've got the mushroom thing, and then you've got the horde of spiders. And I've known of these from the Games Workshop website, and I'm really only interested in that one and not that interested in that one. And I don't like doing smoke effects, so that kind of put me off of those two. And that looked a bit of a cop-out, just having embossed spiders on a base for this horde of spiders. Sorry about the sniffling. What I'm surprised about, a couple of things, is number one, the main thing that I was most interested in, which is the moon, isn't as big as I thought it was going to be. He's basically in 2 halves and you get a separate base for him. But look at the size of the spiders. I wasn't expecting that to be that big. I thought it was going to be, I thought it was going to be the size of one of the bases. I thought it was going to be about that size. It's not. It's pretty darn big. So very pleased about that. That's going to be dry brushing-tastic to do that. So yeah, a bit disappointed in the size of that. Very surprised by the size of that. And then even more surprised Look at the size of this. This is the mushroom. Look at him. Huge. I wasn't expecting that to be that big either. I thought maybe the size of old Skragrott, but no. He's huge. And the cauldron's pretty darn big too. So, yeah, no, this is good timing, because as I'm reaching the end of doing this fella, this next part comes along. Well, they were a doddle to build. This guy, just 2 halves, plop him down on the base. This is as simple as just cut him off the sprue. Really good sculpting. You've got big ones, middle ones, little ones, and tiny ones. But between the tiny ones, you've got the soil. So I'm thinking I've got to paint the soil first, then the spiders. It's not just a case of, you know, the spider colour over everything. There is soil going on in there. There are rocks and there are skulls. So yeah, this is far bigger and far more elaborate than I thought it was going to be, or how the photo on the website makes it appear. Then you got this little fella. That's 2 halves for the smoke, 4 skull ring things and 2 legs. So he was dead easy. And then look at the size of that mushroom. What I've done is, come off. There we go. I haven't glued his smoky stack in. I'm going to stick that back in for priming and then remove, so I can paint both separately. So these are the endless spells assembled. There was a bit of gapping to fill with liquid green stuff. So he's ready to go. I'm going to use contrast paints, as I say, on nearly all of these. And I've got a contrast paint I've never used before, Bad Moon Yellow is going on there. I was going to wet blend it with all the other colours, but no, I'm going to go with a solid yellow first. All right, so that's that. The spiders are just so quick. Basically, I painted the soil areas in Zandri dust, gave it a wash of rattling grime, which is contrast paint, which dulled it down nicely. As you can see, I've just started to pick out the skulls in Screaming Skull. And then, yeah, the spiders are done. And that's 1 coat of the contrast paint, Blood Angels Red. Contrast paints are brilliant. They separate from each other. They settle down. Oh, missed a bit. They darken as they go in the recesses, and they pull away from the colour underneath them to give highlights. So I don't need to do anything else. I'm not gonna pick out the skulls. I could do it on that, but also the medium-sized spiders have got them as well. So if I pick out those, I've got to pick out those, and that's a lot of faffing, and I'm not doing that. So that's that one. This big mushroom, again, had some gaps to be filled. That's not really a mushroom colour, is it? The stalk of mushroom, but I've got a ton of paints that I bought when I was trying to paint Brett. It was an attempt to get a realistic skin tone in one pot. This was one that wasn't, as you can see. It's not exactly realistic. So that's just a base for the more stalky colour that I'll be putting on next. The flame things, I'm going, did I say? I can't remember. With this, all the flamey things are going to be green. With this, it's going to be, because that's going to be red, this is going to be blue. So I've put on a technical paint called, there you are, well, you can pronounce that. And over that I'll be putting blue contrasts. And yeah, finally, this is the cauldron. This is not a Games Workshop colour. This is Vallejo metallic blue. Then we've got a gold colour from Games Workshop, and again, that's that red, Blood Angels red for the legs over the white. these are going to be purple. So I'm going to put on some like lilac or something first before continuing. Right, so Skragrott is officially done. Okay, so now I've finally got a wizard. I can evoke some spells, and these are coming along real fast. That one is done for me. Again, like the skulls, decided not to do the skulls because I can do the big ones, but then I'd have to do the medium. It's the same with the eyes as well. All right, so I'm holding off. I'm not doing the eyes. So that one finished. This one, darkening it all down, making the stalk look mangy and horrible. Next thing I'm going to do there is pick out the white spots of the mushroom. I was considering actually painting them as eyes, make it a bit more strange, but decided not to. I'm going to leave it just with that the skull visage. So that's that. Yeah, I'm quite happy with the flame effect. I'm leaving it at that. I'm not going to put any more colours on. I've just got to pick out the moons in yellow. All the smoke effects, once I'm done with them, I'm going to put gloss varnish on them, just to make them look a bit more different. This fella's nearly done as well. As you see, I've done the purple smoke, so I'm quite happy with that. Looks a bit sickly and horrible. Gloss varnish on that. He's pretty much done now. I've been highlighting the golds, lightening them up. Just got to finish washing this Zandri dust base, and then he's going to be finished. And I've had a rethink on the actual bad moon. I was going to do it like it's some sort of like ethereal spirit thing, but then reading the bump about it, it's actually a stone effigy of the bad moon, which is animated. So this is actually a stone object. So I've gone the more traditional dirtying down route on that. I've just picked his eyes out. I'm actually going to give him pupils, but I'm still going to have the green effect flames. So yeah, that's where I am now, and I think next time I come back they're all going to be done, which won't take long because these contrast paints, yeah, they go well fast. So Skragrott, there he is, checking out his spells that he can do. Already shown you that finished one. This one didn't take much more to do. I just had to put the old gloss varnish on the smoke that now isn't smoke because it is now ectoplasm bubbling out the cauldron. Yeah, just picked out those the white spots, more gloss varnish, darkened down the stalk, did the base. And this roaming moon is the main reason I got the endless spells. I'm kind of pleased with how this came out, this green effect, although it does look like he's burst out of a spirit level or a tub of Swarfiga. But yeah, he's all right. I'm looking forward to using him in a game. Just had a game at the shop, our local shop. Hello to anyone from the shop who might be watching this. Yeah, and we had a nice, fun Age of Sigmar battle today, and I could have used him. I really could have used him, but I haven't boned up on the precise way all these work yet. So I've got to read up on that, and in the new year when we have an Age of Sigmar battle again, yeah, old Skragrott is going to be there.